everybody, welcome back to PSGL. George Morgan here, your commentator, alongside me, TK, who is going to be rounding off the season with me.
Down the inside,
absolutely impossible scene.
This is for the win between these two.
I'm on the edge of my seat.
He needs to get it done now.
Blakely will dive to the inside.
We're robust, we got our elbows out.
Ronar takes the lead.
Because here comes Alfie Butcher.
Can't really complain with that one.
It's not going to be easy. The pressure is on, of course.
Yarda Watmere is your champion.
Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome in for another round of racing here in PSGL Tier 2. It is round 8 and we are here in Mexico City for tonight's running. Alongside me in the commentary box here tonight is Omi. How are you doing here tonight?
Hello Josh, hello everyone, welcome back to PSGL, and yes, it is going to be an exciting round of PCF2. Round number 8, as we mentioned, Mexico City is going to be exciting, and of course it is the final race of 2025. While the season still has 3 rounds after today, it is the final race of 2025. There's been a bunch of PCF2 racing all the way even from F124 up until this point. So it's been a great year of racing, so we're bringing that to a close here today.
Yeah, but a track where we usually get quite a lot of exciting racing. You've got a very different dynamic around the track as well. You've got the long straights, but also that tight and twisty middle and final sector. So the differences in between setups that we might see could be quite an interesting factor.
It really, really could. We were at Silverstone last time out. An exciting, rapid part of, an exciting and rapid circuit when it comes to that part of our calendar. But now, of course, we move over to Mexico, which kind of follows similar characteristics, especially that second sector where you turn left and right. You can see it through right now, turn number 9, 10 and 11. It is really, really a venue where you're close to track limits, you're at high speed, so it's kind of similar to Silverstone in terms of that when it comes to the middle sector, but those long straights as well, which will be allowing the drivers to have some slipstream and also try and make some overtakes with it.
Yeah, I think compared to Silverstone at least, there's probably a higher chance of overtaking. You've got the double DRS as well, so you can continue those battles through turn 1, 2 and 3 and continue all the way down towards turn 4. It definitely gives the drivers some extra opportunities throughout the race. Just talking about last week as well, do you want to just give us a quick run through as to how the standings are looking after last time out?
Yeah, it was a very interesting race last time out. Of course, as we mentioned, it was round number 7 at Silverstone, and it was a first ever PCF2 victory for Tony Hietala, a driver who is called a qualifying merchant by the rest of the grid. Well, he turned up, he delivered it, pole, as we probably expect from him at this point, but then also converted into the win. You can see across his tally across this season, he has had plenty of results that have been up and down. He's had plenty of those pole positions, but he's not been able to convert it. Silverstone was the changing point. The driver to finish second, you can see a bit more further down, P8 in the standings, Pasquale Ranieri. He fought for it all the way till the end as well, but he had to settle for second place, and then P3 went to Isaac Leeds, who claimed his first ever podium in PCF2. So there was a lot of firsts, let's just say, last time out when it came to Silverstone. We had a situation where the top 5 had never won an F2 race, so it was very much one that was wide open, and one where the title contenders and the drivers who we usually expect to be higher up in the order found themselves struggling and found themselves somewhere around the mid-pack, especially when it came to the race.
Yeah, and I mean, it's got to be a really big confidence boost for the likes of Hietala. He's been extremely consistent all the way through this season. To finally pick up that first win, it's going to give him momentum as we continue on into these final few races.
Yeah, absolutely. The momentum is going to be so important. We've seen it swing across this campaign. We've had Luca Rapassa lead it. We've had Leo Lund lead it. We've had now Tony Hietala lead once again, and he's got that 11-point advantage. 17 down to Rapassa. It seems like we've got those 3 drivers who are very much in contention for the title. And outside of that, you'll need a bit of bad luck to come the way of our top 3 for anyone else to kind of join the conversation for this championship fight here on the second season of PCF2 and F1 25 as well. So unlike last season where it was a bit of a domination, this season we have got a championship fight and it's close. And every single round that we have of this season, it all goes a long way. Because of how close it'll be, it all really goes a long way in deciding our champion by the end of the season when we come across the line at Abu Dhabi.
Yeah, let's have a quick look at the calendar for the final remaining rounds of the season. Of course, here tonight, round 8 in Mexico City, the final round of this calendar year, as you said. We've got a bit of a break before we head back to racing Jeddah, Brazil and Abu Dhabi to round it out. It's a very, very nice set of tracks to finish the season off, and tracks where we probably will see some quite interesting racing.
Yeah, absolutely. We've got some really exciting rounds coming up, but even just today, Mexico City should deliver an absolute thriller. Brazil last season, that was the season finale that we had. That was absolutely wild stuff to end the season. We had the Alpines fighting in the front. Not the season finale this time out. It'll go to Abu Dhabi, but Abu Dhabi has also delivered very much quite a lot in terms of action for PCF2. Jan Halliday was crowned here the champion in season 39, so it has already crowned champions in the past, as you would expect from a circuit like Abu Dhabi. And well, it seems like we're going to have a title fight that will go there as well. As now we take a look in the pit lane, qualifying is underway.
Yeah, and the drivers now going to be getting their setups onto their cars, getting themselves ready for this qualifying session. And if you want to get yourself ready for some racing action, you can head over to simracingsetups.com, use code PSGL, and you can get yourself 5% off of some amazing setups over there. Definitely would recommend those, and can definitely help you find a bit of extra pace if you are struggling to find some. But yeah, we head our way towards qualifying now, and very soon I think we're going to be seeing some drivers heading out onto the track.
Yeah, we've got a bonus point available for pole position for the driver who is to top this session. It has been Tony Hietala on 5 occasions in his PCF2 career. In terms of this grid, he's got the most poles by a distance all time. This season, I mean, he's been on and off. He's been on and off when it comes to pole positions as well. So he's always such a reliable driver. 3 to his name this season, and he's going to look to try and make it a 4th by the end of today. But one thing we have had in qualifying, just like the races, it's been unpredictable, and we have seen it go the way sometimes of some other drivers, including Gregory Prigibel. He started the season on pole as well at Albert Park. Gabriel Quintana, you would have just seen he's retired. He is serving a qualifying ban after he returns after serving his race ban last time out at Silverstone.
Yep. And we have slowly got a flurry of cars heading out onto the track now. A bit of a slower start to qualifying, but we're probably expecting 3 laps from the drivers here. They're not going to be choosing the softer tyre allocation, keeping their options open for the race. So 3 runs here in qualifying. It's quite a short lap. We're probably looking at about 1 minute 13s, I would expect, around here. So plenty of time for the drivers to get multiple laps on the board. We might even see some drivers going out on some used tyres at some point if they wish to get a bit of extra track time in.
Yeah, absolutely. That will be the way that they will try and approach things around this circuit. Of course, if we look at the entire season, it is one of the shorter venues, so you have a lot more breathing room in terms of time. But yes, you'll be aiming for those 3 laps specifically as Gregory comes back into the pit lane, gets rid of the bollard on the way in as well. So he will dive back in. But yeah, it's not like a Spa or one of those venues where what he's done you probably wouldn't want to do because of how time consuming it would be. But because it's Mexico, you can go out for a lap, come back in, and then go out once again as well later on when you fancy. Tom Roberts is the driver in your picture, and he is in that Pick Sauber machine, and it's going to be interesting to see what he will be able to do when it comes to this qualifying session. And we're about to start a lap time with him right now.
Yeah, it's one of the longest runs from the grid all the way down towards someone. In fact, it is the longest. It's almost a kilometre, I think, on this start-finish straight alone. Qualifying going to be very important, but we could definitely see some moves coming in towards turn 1 if you can get a good run off of the start through the first few corners now, trying to set up this exit of turn 3 here for this second DRS straight, back-to-back straights with that DRS and the detection point coming at the penultimate corner for both of them. So it is so crucial to make sure you have got that DRS. Purple first sector, of course, as he's the first one to make his way through, but those times are going to tumble as we make our way through this qualifying session, getting himself past the McLaren there of Leo Lund as we make our way through the middle sector now. Decent start to the lap so far, though.
Yeah, looking good so far. Now he deals with the S section, turning left and right and left and right once again is Tom Roberts, as he now is about to attack the final few corners. The stadium section is what lies ahead for him, and it's going to be lap time on the board for the rest of the field coming up. As Josh has just mentioned, expect the times to improve continuously throughout the session as the circuit moves forward, standing on the power, bringing it up through the gears now, taking the shortest possible route to the line. A 1 minute 13.992 is the lap time that is set on the board to beat, immediately displaced by Cameron Dowds, who moves up to P1. Isaac Leach coming off his podium moves up into second place, so the first few laps now beginning to come in. Laurie Tulke, P3 right now for him, and Oscar Furuheim, P3 is now belonging to him, and now it goes to Murphy. Expect the order to continue changing in the way we're seeing right now.
Yeah, so many laps coming in these early parts of the session. We've got lots of the new liveries in play as well. I've already seen the white Red Bull. We've got the pink V-carb here as well, as lots and lots of times coming in. Judah Preskin, P8, now drops to P9, but so many drivers with such similar times. It's going to be an incredibly close qualifying session here.
Really, really will. It is absolutely wide open. Nelson Alves, pole sitter from Austin, Texas, earlier on in the campaign. Right now, P4, Tony Hietala, the driver who we were praising very much when it came to qualifying, and we have done so across the season. He's right now P3. We're looking at his teammate, that's Gabor, and he goes into P5. So that's a good lap time coming in right now for him. Of course, a driver who has been promoted mid-season from F3 to F2, so he's just getting his first few rounds in. He is the only driver in this field right now who hasn't scored a point, but of course we have to counter in that he's only done those 2 races. But today, if he can keep it up in that top 10, he's definitely going to have a chance to score those points. Dowds, now Lund, Leet, Hietala and Alves your top 5 as we complete run 1.
Yeah, very, very close start to this qualifying, less than a 10th, covering our top 7 drivers, and 5 thousandths further back to Luca Rapassa in 8th. So an extremely close session as we would be expecting. One small mistake around here could be costing you several positions on the grid. It's going to be so important for the drivers to make sure they get every single corner absolutely perfect. They're going to have 3 attempts at it, but you've got to try and absolutely capitalise on that final run when the grip is highest, because that is going to be your best opportunity to try and snatch pole position.
It will be, and if you aren't able to improve on the final lap, well, expect to be heading backwards, because there'll be plenty of drivers who are finding the time right at the end of the session, so we can really see the order shuffle majorly by the time you complete run number 1 to run 2, and then of course over to that important run 3 as well. So Cameron Dowds right now is staring at what would be an incredible pole position for him. His best result so far this season has been a 4th, and that came at Kota earlier on this campaign. Cameron Dowds has never taken an F2 pole, so it would be a first if he is able to remain there, but just under 11 minutes to go on our clock as it stands.
Something interesting I've just noticed, none of the drivers in the top 5 have a purple sector. Gabor in P6, purple in sector 1. We've got Joe Murphy in P7, he's purple in sector 2. And then Pascale down in P13, purple in sector 3. So none of those top 5 drivers actually right up there purely with a purple sector. It's all just about the consistency, having 3 decent sectors, which is putting them right up there. If some of those other drivers do find a bit of extra pace in the sectors where they might be lacking a little bit, then there really could be a shot for them to jump themselves up the order.
Yeah, it's all about who can put the tidiest lap together around this venue. It's gonna all come down to that, I think. So that is why you are seeing a lot of our top drivers, not saying any purple sectors, but it's who is able to hook it together through sector 1, through sector 1, 2 and 3 as well. So it's all about that, and that is what the drivers will be trying to do. They would have put in plenty of practice as well. It doesn't apply to all of them. Some of them, of course, may have not had the time due to work or school, but they all would have done a bit of practice coming into this event, or they would have raced it in other competitions or leagues. But it's all about who can come out here in this arena in the 18 minutes and do the best job by the time that checkered flag falls.
Yeah, and we're about to get the second run of laps underway. 9 minutes left to go of this qualifying session, so we're just about halfway through. And the drivers getting themselves ready. Tom Roberts going to be the first driver out for his second run. And I expect it's going to be new soft tyres for almost all of the drivers. They aren't probably going to be using any used tyres in this session. I doubt they'd want to save a set of the softs for the race. Given how much the tyres overheat at this track, you're naturally going to lean yourself towards the harder compounded tyres.
You are going to want to do that indeed. So that'll be the strategy when it comes to the race. Right now we're following Roberts through the opening couple of turns on this circuit. As he now stands on the power, you get another bit of DRS. Critically, you only get one detection point for the 2 DRS zones around this part of the lap. So if you are able to take the lead at 1, you can definitely extend your advantage by the time you get down to 4. So that is one important thing, especially to consider on the final lap of the race if we do have drivers running within close proximity. Roberts, though, all focused on now navigating and nailing their second sector, P16, the slowest lap time that we've got, and he spins, losing the car, and, well, he won't be improving, he won't be getting any higher on the tiring board, because at the moment, that's a mistake that he's had, all out on the attack, and he loses the car and will have to now regroup and go again. Here's Adams pushing on.
I mean, it really shows how hard all of these drivers are pushing. They're making mistakes out there as they push right to the limit. Adams is about a 1/10 of a second up through the first 2 sectors of the lap. He's on for a lap which could put him up there in the top 5 if he can hook this final sector up. A lot of traffic, though, that he has had to navigate on this lap. Might be a little bit frustrated about that, but he'll pull himself tight through the final corner up towards the line. And it's going to be P9, only finds half a 10th in the end. Couldn't quite find it as Joe Murphy goes to the top with a 13.610.
Great lap time for Joe Murphy. To the front of the field he goes, the driver who has 2 podiums in F2, chasing his first pole, and he currently has it by 300ths of a second. He's been able to get ahead of Cameron Dowd, but here is the danger man, and well, whatever circuit we go to, that is the phrase that we would usually say for Tony Hietala. Isaac Leet now goes to the top as he takes the fastest time away, but Tony Hietala is always able to wrestle the car over 1 lap to a good lap time by the end of it. Will it be the same story? We're following him round the final few corners, and back to the front goes Tony Hietala. As we expected, there would be something coming from this man, and there we go. 6 minutes and just over 30 seconds to go. Hietala, Leet, Dowd, Murphy and Conrad Bohm has improved up to P5.
And by quite some margin as well, 700ths of a second to the next car behind him. Both V-carbs looking quite strong as well. Conrad Bone, as you said, jumping up to P5. Lots and lots of good times being set at the moment. We've got Leo Lund out there on a lap at the moment. It's 100th of a second up through the first sector. He's found a 10th in the middle sector. This could be a very strong lap for him as well. It was purple in the middle sector. That is why he's been able to find so much time out there. Just got to hook this final sector up and could be in with a shot to try and challenge for provisional pole position.
Let's see, where is this one going to go? Up through the gears, Leo Lund does deliver on the promise of the first 2 sectors. When you add it all up, it's a 1 minute 13.430, and it's now the quickest time out there on the circuit. 1 more run to go, but it's right now advantage Leo Lund.
And very, very competitive. Once again, we're seeing that 700th of a second difference between Lund and Hietala. The gaps are looking a little bit big up at the front there. Maybe some of those drivers going to start to worry. Maybe there was some mistakes on their lap, so they might have the time to be able to capsize. We've got one of the Haas cars just behind. That is Gabor Xontos. Let's see if he's on a lap. Not improving through the first sector on this lap, I don't believe. But we'll keep on board and see if this is going to be a fast lap. I don't think it is. Never mind, he has turned the battery back on, so maybe still pushing out there. I don't think there's anybody else on a lap anyway. So we'll keep an eye on him for now.
Yeah, we'll just make sure, because lap times can come out of anywhere in PCFT. You always get that one driver who just sometimes tries to go a little bit different. As you can see on the, well, top right, that this time around it's not quick, it's not rapid to try and challenge anywhere in this field, and it's invalidated as well, so not this specific occasion of Gabor pushing on.
Yep, but we count the time down now. 4.5 minutes left to go. I expect we're going to be waiting a little bit before we see any drivers heading out onto the track for their final runs. But very, very close. Once you look from third down to tenth, less than a tenth of a second. That is probably one small mistake in a corner, and you could be finding that time. I mean, we saw Leo Lund, he found a 10th in the middle sector and a 10th in the final sector on that lap, and that has put him right up to the front, in with probably one of the best shots at pole position here tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, Joe Murphy, not too happy on that specific run. Apparently, Gabor was in the way from what he believes, so he will definitely have something to try and say. He's the driver currently in P5, but he's been quite good when it has come to qualifying. Worst result of 9th, that was round 1. Best one of Monaco round 4, that was 2nd place, so he's got close. He has got dangerously close to pole here this season. Is today going to be the day without any traffic hindrance to take him? What about Cameron Dowd? So many great storylines out there of drivers trying to find what would be their first, but we've got 3 minutes and 30 seconds to try and sort it all out. Drivers are heading out onto the circuit now for what is going to be such an important qualifying session, and this is going to be exciting. We've seen it be close so far. We've seen lots of drivers find late lap times across the season. I think all signs lead to this being a wide open battle for pole position.
Qualifying has always been so important on this game. The dirty air naturally makes it tricky for the overtakes to come, and I mean, with such a long run down towards turn 1 as well, we're going to be having close battles in towards that heavy braking zone. This is going to be a very interesting first lap to come, but it's all going to come down to this qualifying session. You've got to give yourself that best spot on the grid. Do you want to be taking that pole position? Obviously, you get a point for that, but maybe you want to consider starting in 2nd or 3rd. Try and get some slipstream down to that first corner and try and capitalise and take the lead there. All to come in these next few minutes as we come through the final corner now with Cameron Dowd to kick off the final laps of qualifying.
P4 at the moment. Where will it end, though, by the time he gets to this part of the lap? Next time by DRS, wide open, down towards the first corner. You can see he's already going over to the left-hand side from driver's point of view to get the car all rotated, to get the turn in. Through 2, 3, and now he'll stand on the power. Skepta within the white lines critically. DRS open once again. Now this lap could be a bit annoying for him because he has got some cars that he will have to navigate across the lap that are just making their way out onto the circuit. It's always the kind of risk you play by going out early, but he'll hope they're all out of the way, and he'll hope he can sail on all the way to the end of the lap without any issues.
Couple of hundreds up through the first sector. He needs to find about a 10th and a half to try and challenge Leo Lund for this pole position. Got a bit of traffic in front of him as he makes his way through the S's, hopefully not causing too many issues. Coming down in towards the stadium section now. He has found time in that middle sector. Needs to find another 10th, and that would put him in the fight for pole position here tonight. Few corners left to go, getting himself slowly back onto the power, winding his way through in towards the final 2 corners. Now through the Peraltada we go, onto the power, up towards line. Is this going to be the lap that Cameron Dowd needs? He finds his way up to 3rd position. That is the improvement to get himself that extra position.
He's gained 1 position, but it won't be the pole position, the first pole that he would have wanted, and now he waits. He now waits to see what all of the other drivers can manage. Joe Murphy is also improving by a 10th of a second. Can he go all in here through the stadium section to try and wrestle the Alpine from P5 to a further place in this qualifying session? 40 seconds to go. Joe Murphy on the attack. Let's see where this lap time will take him. Over the line, and he goes to 2nd place. He has missed out on pole position. It's P2 for him at the moment. Oscar Furuheim's invalidated. It means it's a trip back to the pit lane for the Kicksauber man.
Provisional pole sitter Leo Lund is improving as well through the final corner now. Can he break into the 0.3s as he comes across the line? Yes, he can. It's a 0.35 there for Leo Lund. Extends it to over a 10th of a second to the next car. Can anybody get close? We've got one of the Haas cars coming through the final corner. That is going to be Hiatala up towards the line. He's down through the first 2 and he's not going to improve on his lap. Only 4th place for the driver who won last time out. Ryan Modler jumps up to P5. He finds an improvement. Larry Tukey as well up to P8, finding time out there. We've got one of the Aston Martins. That's going to be Campbell Adams, only finding P12 in the end of the 13.6. Next car is going to be one of the V-Carbs as they come across the line. Not going to be an improvement from either of the 2 V-Carbs. Unfortunate stuff there for them. Have we got any more drivers out there on laps? Got one of the Ferraris, Pasquale, making his way through the final corner now. Let's see where he can put himself.
Currently 10th place for one of the stars of Silverstone, comes over the line and improves that Ferrari up to 3rd. Now that is a good position to be on the run towards turn number 1. Great late lap from Pasquale Ranieri, delivering another great performance, but it's Leo Lund who has appeared to take his 3rd pole position when it comes to PCF2. Great stuff from him. Nelson Alves was improving, but the lap time will not count. He went over the white lines. Conrad Bohm's not doing anything either. Tony Hitala's done. It seems like everyone is done, and it looks like we have got the order for this for the race for the Mexico City Grand Prix, and this is going to be exciting. Lund, Murphy, Ranieri, Leet, and Hitala, the top 5.
And quite some margin to take pole position by as well. It was a .350 in the end, over a 1/10 of a second clear of his next closest rival. That is a very impressive margin to be finding. A 1/10 of a second covers all the way down to P9 from second. So it is quite a strong margin that Leo Lund has found on that lap. Whether he'll be able to continue that pace into the race, that I think is going to be a very interesting question. If he can continue on like that, he could be in with a very good shot here tonight.
Well, that was quite exciting. Now it's over to the race. Now it's over to see what will happen across our race contest, where of course we do get to see a lot of the wheel-to-wheel battling on the circuit, where it can sometimes get to brinkmanship moments out there on the circuit, but you've done the job in qualifying. So many times have we seen the qualifying order be completely flipped in the race, and I wonder whether we'll get exactly that here in Mexico City.
Yeah, well, just a quick run through the order then for you. Leo Lund taking the pole position, Joe Murphy in second, Pasquale Ranieri in third. We've got Isaac Leeds, Tony Hitala, Ryan Modler, Sergio Sabrino, Gabo Santos, Cameron Dowds, Conrad Bone, Larry Tukey, Nelson Alves, Campbell Adams, Oscar Furheim, Luca Rapassa, Tudor Preston, Tom Rodders, Gabriel Printo, and Gregory Prisbill. I unfortunately don't know how to say that final name, but there is the order for you. A very exciting qualifying session, and we will now be heading towards this 36-lap race here in Mexico City.
All to play for. It comes at a critical point in the championship battle, as we've already emphasized to you. We are running out of races. We have had 7 rounds. This is Mexico round 8. We're over to Jeddah, Brazil, and Abu Dhabi in the new year to round out season 41. And the question lies to see who will join the long list of champions that we have developed here in F2 since season 29. This is season 41, as I mentioned. There has been lots of talented stars who have been able to, well, perform here and get themselves great opportunities in the world of F1 sim racing. And that's exactly what drivers in this field will be eyeing up for the future.
Definitely, this is the proving ground for all of these drivers to show what they are made of, show what they can achieve. And 36 laps here tonight to try and get the best possible result, try and pick up that race victory, fastest lap, and also the pole position point, which has gone the way of Leo Lund. Try and maximise the points that all the drivers can score to capitalise in the Drivers' Championship. That is where they are going to be looking to pick up their best results possible. But as the drivers make their final adjustments, get that strategy locked in, get the fuel sorted, make any final tweaks to their setups as well. Not going to be too much longer before we head down to the grid. In fact, we're heading here now, and the lights are coming on ahead of the drivers. And we are racing here in Mexico City. Decent start from Leo Lund. Pasquale behind, also getting a really great launch. Could be trying to challenge down towards turn 1. We've already got some yellow flags coming out in the background. Drivers already making moves, but it's a long, long run down towards turn number 1. And Pasquale looking to the outside. We're 4 wide in the background, further back as well. As we make our way through, and there's contact. Lots of cars going round in the background. Several drivers getting caught up with contact in a turn 1 incident. And as we make our way through the first few corners, Leo Lund and Joe Murphy, several seconds clear up at the front of the field.
Bolt from the top 2, drama and contact behind as they all went down into the first 10 and Constantine it up. We make our way now through the other few corners to complete this first sector right now, and it's 3 wide further back. Modler trying to get to the inside of Pressacan. He's up against Isaac Leach is also there. This is an absolute brawl at the start of this race, and it's going to get very tight. Isaac Leach having to back out of it. That was dramatic stuff through the opening couple of corners on this circuit, and for the top 2 to have a 2-second advantage was wild. Here Hietala is now bringing it down to 1.1 second as now we get ready to complete the opening lap.
It's absolutely crucial for Hietala to get back within that 1 second DRS range. If he's not there by the time they get back around for that next DRS activation, he is going to be in big trouble. He's got more contact as Oscar gets down the inside in towards the penultimate corner. Cameron Dow's looking for the switchback as they run down towards turn 1 once again. Such a chaotic opening lap here to get this race underway. But Leo Lund leading, Joe Murphy in second. The DRS as it stands is broken. There's no DRS just yet though. This is pure straight line speed as they run side by side in towards turn 1. The V-Carb on the inside trying to get the better of the kick stab, and he does so and gets himself up into P7.
P7 taken for Cameron Dowd ahead of Oscar Furuheim. Meanwhile, further back, Larry Tulke is fighting his way past Luca Rapassa. We join this battle live. He's not the only one. Gregory in the McLaren trying to also get his way through out there on the circuit. But now the drivers regroup after what was a chaotic opening tour, especially for those drivers who are in the lower ends of the field, who would have been caught up in all of that carnage as well. So we look now at the front. Lund, then Murphy, then Hietala, Sabrina P4, Gabor in P5, Ranieri, not the opening lap for him that he would have wanted. He's dropped down a couple of positions. Dowd, Furuheim, Alves and Presecan complete our top 10. You can see most of the field are on those medium compound of tyres, barring Quintino, Rapassa and also Tom Roberts, who've gone for the white wall hards.
Well, the first use of DRS down the start-finish straight, and we're seeing a flurry of fastest laps coming in here as they make their way towards turn 1. Is anybody going to be close enough, brave enough for a move in towards the first corner? I think it's going to take a couple of laps, at least up at the front of the field, for them to settle in after the chaos of those opening laps. Just close those margins back in. It was a 2-second gap. Almost 2.2 seconds, I think, between Murphy and Hietala. The fact that that gap has immediately come back down is very impressive stuff there from the driver who won last time out.
You can tell he was attacking. He knew that he didn't want to find himself immediately losing touch. You've got to be within this DRS now. Now I know this is a very painful way to go racing in terms of being stuck there for the entire race, but it gives you opportunities with the strategy. It gives you just a chance to be there and be large in the mirrors, try to force a mistake out of your rival, and if there is that one chance that does eventually come, then you need to be there to take it. So it's so important to still be within that 1 second range, even if it might not materialize into an overtake, especially if you are in the mid-pack, especially when all of your rivals have DRS. So battery management is very much the most important thing at this phase in terms of if you can manage it right, you could possibly get some position. But you really want to try and get your way through this first stint and then focus on the race later on.
And we had a tyre change here at this track as well, so I expect we're probably going to be headed the way of the one stop here tonight, so slightly less to think about with the strategy, but still, the undercut, the overcut, that's going to be a talking point later on once we do get towards that pit stop phase for the drivers. Managing their tyres as well as they make their way through, going to be very, very important.
It will be. That's a good exit from the driver of Gabor, trying to get onto the back of Sergio Sabrino, but you are going to get the gaps basically just moving around a little bit at this phase. It will close in and then it will spread out once again. That's the driver just trying to manage it, making sure they're not getting too close and making sure to keep the car in good condition as well. So there's a lot going on at this phase. It's not just simply driving and following, and of course there'll be conversations going on with the engineers as well that these drivers all will have.
Big gainers on the race start. Oscar Fuhrheim up 6 positions. Tudor Prescan also up 6 positions. Gabriel Quintino, he gained 4 in these opening few laps as there. The Ferrari of Pasquale having to defend into the stadium section. Not ideal if he was to try and stay close to the back of Gabor there as Cameron Dowd's getting very close and might even be thinking about a move here through the final corner on towards the start-finish straight.
Wheel to wheel, Ferrari versus Racing Bulls, the two teams from Italy battling at this moment in time. Pasquale Ranieri will shut the door to the inside line, but he won't close the door enough. You can see Dowds is having to debate which way is it going to be. It'll be to the outside line, but you can get it to the inside. It's still neck and neck between the two of them, and Ranieri stays ahead. Does Dowds stand on the power and try and make this a battle down towards turn 4? Another overtaking opportunity comes the way of the Scottish driver, trying to go the long way around, trying to roll the car on. Will he still be able to keep his foot in? Ranieri staying ahead, and he will stay ahead on this occasion. P6 still belonging the way of Pasquale Ranieri.
It shows though that there are opportunities. You can get close through that final sector. Give yourself a chance down into turn 1, and not just into turn 1, because that battle can continue all the way through the first sector and heading into the middle sector as well. It's crucial knowledge for all of these drivers, knowing that there are chances to make the overtakes, chances to try and fight their way through the field. And I think especially for the drivers who are starting on those hard compound tyres, Ryan Modler now getting close to the back of Tudor Prashkan, trying to make his way into the top 10 positions down the inside, into towards the hairpin in the stadium section. Not able to find the move there, but he keeps himself close through the final few corners. Might have a chance in towards turn 1.
Yeah, you've got the drivers low in the lower ends, all just trying to kind of make the overtakes in this phase, because they know they are going to leave themselves with too much work to do later on. So if you are further back, and you know you have the pace, then you do need to be making a little bit of progress, even if it is still the early phase. Lap 6 out of 36 at the moment for these drivers in the field, and they're all very much going to work nice and early. It was quite a chaotic start. We've had that as a theme across this entire season, really. We've had opening laps which have had contact, which have had wheel-to-wheel brawling, but they are now getting into a bit of a rhythm, and they're now just trying to get to the end of this phase. But as I mentioned, there is still some battling to look out for. This was Tom Roberts up against Conrad Bohm, who is dropping down to the last position on the road, P19.
Yeah, not the greatest of starts, unfortunately, for the V-Carb driver. Just having a look, seeing maybe he picked up some damage on that opening lap. Looks like yes. Right end plate missing from that front wing, unfortunately, for the V-Carb driver, and that is going to set his race up quite poorly, unfortunately. Going to be quite a struggle in this opening stint. Hopefully he'll be able to get that fixed and try and recover something from this race.
Yeah, that's the aim for him at this moment. Conrad Bohm looking to try and just secure a good result by the end of this contest. So it'll be interesting to see what he'll be able to do. Has had P5 in the last 2 races this season. Has a big ask though if he is to try and repeat that and make it 3 in a row in terms of finishing in the top 5. We're currently looking at Oscar Furuham, a driver who has progressed his way through from PlayStation over to the PC side and has been performing quite well to get that podium in Austria. That's definitely the highlight of his campaign, trying to add some more to end this season. P8 right now running in the position where he is close to some opportunities. He is definitely close, but he just has to make sure he avoids the trouble and avoids some of the chaos that could unfold across this race.
Yeah, I think that's going to be a big thing. If there is any incidents in front, he's going to be ready to pick up the pieces. But also, if he wants to go for that undercut, maybe try and gain a couple of positions, get himself further ahead in the train. That could work for him as well. He could be in for a very decent result if he does, like all the drivers around him, try and consider pulling the plug, going for the undercut, and trying to gain that track position. Because while you can overtake, we have seen that it is naturally hard on this game, and that theme has continued as Isaac Lee dropping some positions. Not too sure what has happened there for the Williams driver, but he is now down into P15, lost a couple of positions there.
He did indeed. That's not ideal and not what he would have wanted. Meanwhile, it's getting super tight between Isaac Leet and Luca Rapassa, one of the title contenders, struggling at this moment in the case of Luca Rapassa. Meanwhile, Leo Lund having a great time out in front and is looking to try and close in the gap at the front of the field. Meanwhile, Rapassa still battling away. This time it's with Campbell Adams. So you've got Rapassa ahead. Leet now is looking to try and fight up against Adams, trying to send it a long way round. Meanwhile, also closing in is Larry Tulke. They're all nose to tail at this moment in time.
Looks like there's been a couple of mistakes on that previous lap as the drivers just try and get themselves into that rhythm. A couple of them falling by the wayside, losing a bit of time, and as a result it's really bunched things up at the back end of the field. Tom Roberts almost pushing the Alpine of Larry Tukey through the S's here as they get towards this DRS straight. Quite a short straight, maybe not going to give much overtaking opportunity, but if you can be brave on the brakes, you definitely could have a shot to try and dive up the inside or maybe dance your way around the outside. Nothing coming just yet for the Sauber of Tom Roberts, but he is going to keep nice and close and maybe give himself a chance down in towards turn 1.
Yeah, turn 1, the big overtaking opportunity. You don't want to risk anything through the other parts of the lap because you are getting very close to contact at that phase if you attempt anything like it. Meanwhile, by the way, Gregory did come into the pit lane. That was background of shot. Now we are focusing on the move, the switch in position that comes in. That sees Tom Roberts get ahead, and meanwhile Gabriel Quintino up to 11th place as well. So he has made a move. He's got past Ryan Modler. So a few switches continue to come in as we enter lap number 9.
Yeah, up at the front, not been too many switches, though I think Joe Murphy just been saving his tyres for the time being, saving his battery, and he is slowly starting to close in, I think, a little bit here on Leo Lund. Just kept himself within that 1 second margin, lap after lap, and that consistency has allowed him to stay with our pole sitter. But how much longer is he going to wait? Is he going to try and pounce and take that lead in the next few laps, potentially?
Who knows? Joe Murphy looking to try and just control things absolutely brilliantly. Such a difference between the two drivers contesting P1. Leo Lund has done it multiple times. We now cut over to a battle at the stadium section, the final part of the lap. This is Rapassa, who is having to check those mirrors aggressively at the moment. He was having a back lane. He was able to fight up against Modler, and he finds himself in that P12 position. But you can have pass and repass here at Mexico City, and that is exactly what they will hope that takes place in that battle, if you are, of course, the driver who has just been passed, but nothing out front that time by. But P14 off the road goes Isaac Leet, no longer in that 14th position, instead sliding his way back onto the circuit, and he'll have no momentum, which will put Larry Tulkey all over him down towards turn number 4, but nothing Tulkey can do on that occasion. Not the couple of corners that Isaac Leet would have wanted.
Things definitely starting to close up at the front of the field. Pit stops will be coming quite soon. We've already seen 2 of the drivers jumping in for a change of tyres. Joe Murphy now a lot closer than he has been on previous laps, less than half a second off the back of Leo Lund. With the DRS now into the stadium section, could this be the lap where he decides it's time to try and hit the front of the field, try and make that move, as there the McLaren going off the track, heading through turn number 13 and 14. Let's see if Joe Murphy now thinks about a move to come in these next few DRS zones. He's within a couple of tenths of the McLaren driver, and I think maybe some drivers diving to the pit lane as well. Hietala, I think, is the first one to jump. Sabrino also coming in, as well as Pasquale and Nelson Alves as well.
Yep, here comes Joe Murphy about to take the lead out there on the circuit. Easy switch with DRS. Leo Lund doesn't fight it. Joe Murphy, who has never won an F2 race, well, he's taken P1 out there on the circuit. Now as we reach the pit stop phase, he has decided to make the move, but as I mentioned, Leo Lund not fighting it. They don't want to lose time, because now, as you mentioned, there's drivers who have pit. If you lose time, then you are costing basically each other in the context of the bigger picture in this race.
Yeah, and it's hard tyres going on for all of the drivers who have made their stops so far, expecting to go to the end of this race, I believe, as well. And, I mean, it's quite a long stint, 26 laps on those hard compound tyres, but it's definitely doable for those drivers. We'll have to wait and see where they're coming out, how powerful the undercut is going to be. Nelson Alves gets himself ahead of Conrad Bone, who's already been out there for a couple of laps on those tyres after he had that damage to his front wing. Came in early. He hasn't actually fixed his wing, though, so still running with a bit of front wing damage and a bit of a lack of that front downforce.
Yep, we cut over to some wheel-to-wheel, to some side-by-side. That is Roberts ahead of Adams. They're both behind Ryan Modler, the driver at the tail end of this battle is Isaac Leet as well. Into the pit lane comes what was the race leader, Joe Murphy, and he is joined by plenty of drivers. Meanwhile, though, Leo Lund continues on, and of course on the hard compound of tyres, Rapassa, Roberts also go on along with Quintino, but you have Adams and Leet on the mediums going on once again. Gavel's gone on to a set of the intermediates.
And
he's retiring, that's why.
Unfortunate stuff there for Gabble. There was also a 10-second penalty for Larry Tukey. This is the battle as they make their way out to the pit lane. Hiatala has pulled off the undercut. He is theoretically into the net lead of this race. Sabrino trying around the outside on Joe Murphy as well. This battle getting very, very close as they make their way through turn 2 into turn 3 now onto the power. They're off the track there as they open up the DRS now running down towards turn 4. Sabrino with the advantage and pulls himself ahead of Joe Murphy, who with this undercut has lost 2 positions on the track.
Yeah, big moment. We have Hiatala able to get ahead and return back to the front of the field. So let's see how he is going to get on, and is he going to be able to now take control of this race? Meanwhile, Sergio Sabrino also finds himself bolting forward and finds himself in contention. But it was always interesting to see them rejoining the road, and the undercut absolutely paying off on that occasion. For Tony Hiatala, a 7/10 advantage he's got on the circuit at the moment.
Leo Lund stays out for another lap. He's chosen not to pit. One of 3 drivers on the medium tyres who are yet to make their pit stops. He's going a bit longer, trying to build himself a bit of a tyre advantage as Rapasa making an overtake here on Quintino in towards the first corner. We're also seeing moves between the 2 other medium tyre runners. Isaac leads up into what is P5 at the moment. Of course, he will drop plenty of positions once that pit stop is made, though.
Yeah, so it is right now 5th, but he'll find himself dropping down the order later on in the race when all of the strategies do play out. And you can imagine for the mediums, it will be soon for these drivers. They are really trying to extend it, and Leo Lund, well, he'll know that he's going to lose track position, so he's trying to now just basically make the most of it, have the better grip later on. So he's going a little bit different, is Leo Lund, as he tries and hopes to wrestle his way back to the top, back to the front, where the driver in your picture right now is Tony Hiatala, and he's also trying to break clear. 9/10, very nearly a second. If you can break the 1 second gap, then that is critical as he tries to bolt away from the field and get himself to back-to-back wins in this championship, to extend his championship lead and to head into, well, this final bit of a break before the final 3 rounds in the new year with a good advantage and also feeling confident.
Yeah, I mean, we saw how much time he was able to gain in the opening laps of this race. If he can put some laps like that together, he could be in with a really great shot as we've got swapping positions once again. Quintino and Rapasa just going to be swapping with that DRS, trying to minimize the time loss as they extend on those hard compound tyres. They've actually gained a second on Leo Lund on that last lap. He lost quite a lot of time, I think. And actually looking at the times, Gabriel Quintino not too far off the pace that these drivers on the new hard tyres like Hiatala are setting, as Larry Tukey sets the fastest lap at 17.6 on those hard compound tyres. That is a very, very strong lap.
Yeah, very strong lap indeed for him at this moment in time. Lap 14 out of 36. A few laps away from reaching half race distance. Pasquale Ranieri up against Cameron Dowds. Wheel to wheel we go between the 2 of them. Now this is at a tight part of the circuit. Is Ranieri going to be able to keep the foot in? No. Moving up and gaining a position is Cameron Dowds. He takes his 1 lap fresher compound of tyres ahead of Pasquale Ranieri, who drops down to 11th right now on the road. Will be much more higher up though when we see the pit stops coming ahead, but that was a bit of an interesting battle through the middle sector.
Yeah, and I think one that might have caught a couple of the drivers off guard. We've got pit stops now. Isaac Leet decides to call it quits on the medium tyres. He's going to get undercut by quite a lot of drivers anyway. He's now going to start his charge on the hard compound tyres. Built up about a 3 or 4 lap tyre advantage to a lot of the field as well, and that's going to give him some help in trying to make some more overtakes as we continue on through this race. Still 5 drivers are yet to make their pit stops.
Yeah, there's still plenty who are yet to come into box. Larry Tulke, another fastest lap from him, a woman at 17.586. That time by, of course, he's got some clean air, so he's just going all in with this. He is absolutely able to push on and on and on out on the circuit compared to all of these other drivers in this DRS train who are, well, managing and dealing with quite a lot as well, and basically running their race at this moment in time. Leo Land dropping down the order, and that is a puncture. That's a puncture for the driver. Second place in the championship. He's gone off, and that is going to be Leo Land trying to continue, trying to stretch this as long as possible, and that is a huge twist heading into the end of this stint of the season. Leo Land is surely going to find himself out of the race, and he's taken out Hietala. He's taken out the championship leader. Drama between Land and Hietala out there on the circuit, and now could this open the door for Luca Rapassa?
It's absolute devastation for Hietala. He looked like he could have been coming on for another victory here tonight. Back-to-back wins in PSGL F2, but it's all fallen apart after being taken out by Leo Lund with that rear puncture. It has all fallen apart for the Haas driver, and now Sergio Sabrino is the net race leader, but he's battling with Joe Murphy and Cameron Dowds through the first few corners. They're side by side. Looks like Joe Murphy will just about hold on to this position, but this battle has been blown right open at the front of the field.
Can you believe what we've just seen at that moment in time? One championship contender has drama, and the one driver who he's finding himself into the side of is another, and that is big in the context of this championship. They're very lucky Luca Rapassa isn't having the greatest of days. Meanwhile, it's opening the door for other drivers in this field, and that would have been the latest of late sends for Cameron Dowds. He can't quite get ahead of Joe Murphy. Now in control of this race is Sergio Sabrino. But what has just happened in the last lap?
I'm still in a bit of disbelief. I never expected that we'd see a driver get a puncture and they would spin and take another driver out as they were desperately trying to get back to the pit lane. I mean, it's crucial for him in the championship that he does manage to get back going, but he's going to need some sort of safety car if he wants any chance of scoring some points here tonight. Rapassa and Quintino swapping positions at the front once again. Sabrino almost broke the DRS this time around as well. That gap, 9.5 tenths of a second. In fact, I'm looking at that rear wing. I think he did actually break the DRS. Just about got it done in the detection point, and that has allowed him to hold the position ahead of Joe Murphy for the time being.
Yeah, Sergio Sabrino's like, well, here we go. This is my chance now. We've just been given an open invitation, and he's not got any championship to worry about. He's just trying to end this season on a high, as he currently finds himself on start number 75 in PCF2. He's been presented with an opportunity as now we get ready to reach half race distance, and it is going to be a battle now beginning to form between these drivers. Dowds is also in there, so is Pasquale Ranieri, then it's Alves, Bohm and Furuheim, who is also finding himself in this train trying to secure another good result this season, but a race that is completely transformed on its head after we thought it was heading one way, and well, PCF2 continues to deliver in terms of drama. I think there could be a chance possibly incoming here for Cameron Dowds. He's really getting closer and closer to the back of Joe Murphy.
Crucially though for Joe Murphy, he is close to the back of Sabrino. He will have that DRS down towards turn 1, and that is going to help him to defend from the flying V car behind him. But will it be enough as they run down towards turn 1? Pulling out of the slipstream briefly, trying to cool his engine down a little bit. Doesn't want to lose too much top speed, and we head towards the first corner. Now that gap is coming down. Is Cameron Dowds going to look to the inside? Here comes Joe Murphy, trying to defend and looking to attack at the same time as well. Couldn't make the move there, but crucially holds onto the position ahead of the V-Carb driver.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they say the best form of defense is attack, and he took it quite literally at that moment as he tried to make a dive bomb opportunity move, trying to do the exact same as Furuheim. That's up against Conrad Bohm, and Pasquale Ranieri looks like has had a possible Wi-Fi drop. He's left the session, and that is going to be the Ferrari driver heading backwards. I mean, he's caught out two-door Pressacan trying to get by, and that is another race ruined this time for Pasquale Ranieri. He was having a great race, but now the AI will be trundling around very slowly. He'll need to get back in the lobby, but that is such a shame for the Italian driver.
Crucially for Hietala, he's still in this DRS train, but I mean, it is so unfortunate for him. As it stands, not going to be scoring points. They might be sub-up for grabs after all of those final pit stops are made. But yeah, it's really not looking like it's going to be his day tonight after it looked like he could have been on for back-to-back wins here in PCF2. P12 as it stands for the Haas driver, and not really much he could have done to avoid it.
Yeah, I mean, we are currently looking at a scenario which, as I mentioned, it looked like earlier on Rapassa wasn't having the greatest of days. it seems like he's still going to, of course, gain points on Leo Lund. So at the end of it, he may still end up actually gaining points. Remember, he's got an 11-point advantage, and it still looks like he could absolutely gain points on his championship rival. It looked curtains at that moment, but now thinking about it, he's back in it. He's running within the DRS. And remember, Luca Rapassa, even if Rapassa is able to possibly try and get a better result if there is any safety cars or anything, then, you know, that's still a driver who's 17 points behind. His main rival is Leo Lund. His main rival will most likely be getting a penalty, I think it is fair to say, for that moment, and also is running way, way behind him. So still, it is all looking good for Tony Hietala in the context of this championship.
Yeah, I think Rapassa's definitely going to be in a strong position. He'll have that alternative strategy to give him those fresher tyres, the faster tyres towards the end of the race. But of course, there is still a chance for Hietala to try and pick up some points after the disappointments he will be facing here tonight. But this, I think, very much going to be a race of what-ifs, because there's been so many moments throughout this one where things could have gone so differently for a couple of drivers and really changed this result.
Pasquale Ranieri is back in, as you can see, but that is a race ruiner for him. Meanwhile, Tony Hietala trying to recover. He'll be a driver with a bit of anger now that he has made the move on Gregory. But this round and this race now, this scenario that Tony's been put in, is really going to actually show in terms of this championship battle. Is he going to be able to keep this cool head after what has just happened? Is he going to be able to just take these positions one by one and try and recover? But he is right now doing a great job to try and recover. Next up is going to be two-door Pressacan, but I think across the F2 grid right now, especially for all of the drivers who would have seen that, there is a big shock, and all the engineers watching on, I'm sure, there is definitely a big shock right now in terms of what did we just see a few laps ago. And I think people are only going to be beginning to realize what actually did happen. It all happened very quickly, and it all was so major, and the scenario of it, when you think about it, is just unbelievable that it could have happened at that part of the circuit and how it all took place. We had a crazy F3 race from what I heard. It is great to have your company if you're joining us from that earlier on, where we had big contact, I heard, in that race. But we are now back here for PCF2, lap 21 out of 36, and we've got still a race in the balance at the front. Sabrino versus Murphy versus Dowds, and all of the drivers who are in this train behind.
Yeah, and we are back into this DRS train. It's there, the Red Bull of Tudor Pressacan, looking to the inside, late dive on Oscar, trying to get that move done. He has the inside line now through turn number 3, and Oscar going wide off the track. He's going to have to concede that position as they run down towards turn number 4. Is there a chance for Hietala to capitalise on the squabbling in front as they head into the braking zone? The Haas driver to the inside, trying to find this position. Now going to switch to the outside through turn number 5, getting back onto the power. Can he try and stick this one around the outside into turn 6? He's going to have to back out. Can he try and get the up and under? Doesn't look. Unfortunately, the move is going to come for Hietala. He thought there was an opportunity, but the battling not quite working in his favour there.
Yeah, not quite at that moment. Good opportunity. Attempted move, I think. We can say, though, for that battle. But things beginning to heat up now in the mid-pack. There is Cameron Dowds getting dangerously close, throwing one to the inside. Down at the final few corners. That's where he's going through now. But could there be the chance down the straight? Meanwhile, further back, that is Pressacan, that is Bohm, and that is not a lot of margin as we make our way round the final couple of corners now as we get ready to begin another lap in this race. Gregory is coming into the pit lane, by the way, but we've got a huge train of them now with the DRS about to do battle. So Hietala's trying to make a move on Furuheim. He's getting close to Conrad Bohm. How is this one going to end? The Haas car. It's Hietala trying to get to the inside line of Furuheim. Bohm is ahead of Pressacan. Does Hietala try and capitalise and also make the move that he was looking to do? No, it looks like he's had to settle back in, but Pressacan now gets DRS once again, or he doesn't actually, I should say, rather. So it means that Bohm's able to consolidate that position. Pressacan in 9th, then it's Furuheim, then it's Hietala, Modler and Isaac Leach round out this battle.
Well, once again, battling coming. Hietala unable to find the overtakes that he needs to get in this race if he wants to try and pick up some points here tonight. Still the drivers up at the front. Quintino, Rapassa and Roberts continue on their now 21-lap-old hard compound tyres. Surely it's not going to be too many more laps before we see pit stops coming. Of course, it was about 15 laps that we saw from Gabor before, from Leo Lund before he picked up that puncture. And yeah, I guess it's just going to be a waiting game. Wait and see how long they can go. We've got more overtakes happening here. Ryan Modler gets himself ahead of Isaac Lead through the final few corners. Still battling away as they make their way through the final corner now. Extremely close stuff as they power down the start-finish straight once again. But, yeah, I mean, they're going to be a little bit worried about those punctures later on in the race. The Williams driver with that DRS pulls himself alongside and marginally ahead in towards turn 1. But can the Ferrari try something around the outside?
That's the question that we ask. Nothing through 1. Now through the next few couple of corners, can he boot the throttle hard and try and become experimental down towards turn 4 as he tries to make a move? Nothing, it appears like, at this moment in time. Adams is also just waiting in behind at this phase of the contest. He's throwing one to the inside and he clatters into the side of the Ferrari. They both get away with it. They both continue on, but that was dangerously close to ending both of their races.
Fortunately, no harm done there in the end. Still up at the front here. Sabrino is the net race leader as Campbell Adams picks up a 3-second time penalty after that contact that he had there as well. Unfortunate stuff for the Aston Martin driver. Things not quite going his way tonight. Joe Murphy still keeping himself nice and comfortably within that DRS here, giving himself all the opportunity he needs. If he wants to fight late on in this race for the victory, he's got to make sure he keeps himself close to Sabrino, but he's also got to make sure he keeps those hard compound tyres alive.
Yeah, so you've got to make sure that they are still running all the way till the end when we hit lap number 36 of the race. Still 12 laps to go, and still the driver is all running very closely. Running definitely very closely is Adams. He's got past Modler. It was close between the two of them, and a switch has come in between them. So that is going to be P13 and 14. The two drivers with a penalty still in this race are Laurie Torquay and Campbell Adams, by the way. So they will have a penalty to their name by the time the checkered flag comes.
Yeah, 13 seconds of penalties for both of them. Unfortunate stuff. I mean, it's effectively taking them out of contention for a points finish here tonight. And now the gaps at the front of this train starting to spread out a little bit. Joe Murphy now 0.8 of a second off the back of Sabrino. Cameron Dowse was also almost about 0.7 of a second off the back of Murphy briefly. He has closed back in though, and keeping himself nice and close. He knows there'll be some chances for some overtakes to come very, very soon. Tudor Presscan also getting close to the back of Conrad Bone, might try and return the favour from a couple laps ago.
Yeah, he may try that indeed. We are at this waiting phase to see who will be the one dishing out the overtake down this straight. We're currently looking at the closest possible driver to do so. Pressacan and Bohm, they've both got the rear wing open. You've got the junior team up against the main team at the moment, and trying to go to the inside line is Tudor Pressacan, but Bohm's going to keep the foot in. It gets so close to contact between the two of them. Pressacan tries to steal the apex off the road. Goes Conrad Bohm, and may it open the door for Oscar Furuheim, who in the Kick Sauber is looking to try and get involved and capitalise on this battling that goes on into the braking zone. Pressacan turns in. My corner, your problem at that precise moment. Pressacan is ahead of Bohm, then it's Furuheim. They are 8th, 9th and 10th at the moment.
Impressive stuff from Conrad Bone right now, as still we're battling away here now with Oscar through the S's. They go and off the track. That is very, very wide there from the V-Cup driver. He's been carrying damage for quite some time, and this battling still continuing. And Isaac Leet now finds the way through, and that's going to allow Hietala through as well. Now up to 11th place on his charge. Back to the points positions. Campbell Adams also following through in this squabble. So many positions lost there for Conrad Bowman. Finally, I think the momentum swinging with that wing down, which he finally lost that rhythm that he was in, and it's just cost him so many positions in just one sector.
It really, really has indeed. So now this is the moment where Rapasa chooses to pit and to box. Here he is rejoining the road in what is absolute carnage out there on the circuit. Now there goes Tony Hietala. Hietala gets past, so does Campbell Adams. You can see they're all over the road further back as well. So that is going to be Modler, who is trying to fight up against Conrad Bowman. Meanwhile, Laurie Torquay is there. So Rapata and Hietala soon could be about to go wheel to wheel. What Rapata is trying to do is clear Campbell Adams, who is one of the cars who he needs to pass, and he does so with ease, but he's also going for his rival for the title, or at least got close to, but he may have the chance in a few meters time. Easy pass possibly coming on the inside line. Hietala will always try fight it, but the grip differential means that Rapasa clears in with ease. P10 now, and he's chasing after Oscar Furuheim.
This is looking to be an extremely impressive strategy from Luca Rapasa. He's currently in P10. He's only got about 7 overtakes to make, and at the rate he's going right now, he has got plenty of time to get those done. We're on lap 27 of 36, 10 laps left to go. Gabriel Quintino now comes into the pits as well, as does Tom Roberts. So the order now going to settle out. Everyone has made their pit stops in just a few moments, and we will finally get to see what the playing field is looking like for these final 10 laps of the race.
Absolutely, here we go then. Rapasa trying to make another move. Another driver you'll have to watch who is rejoining the road is Gabriel Quintino. So they'll go on by, but Quintino will be the driver to keep an eye on. Denied the win, of course, earlier on in Barcelona, where he took his first win in F2 due to a time penalty that Mr. Nathan Richards wished for as well, by the way, as everyone will know if you were watching the end of the show. But he is going to try and take it back. He's trying to get to redemption. Rapace has gained another position. Quintino's got past Oscar Furuheim as well. Laps are running out, and we've got 2 drivers on the attack, putting pressure on the ones ahead.
Here we go once again. Rapasa now onto the back of his teammate. The 2 different liveried Red Bull cars battling away through this middle sector. He's going to have so much more grip through the S's. He'll stick close heading into the stadium section and might be thinking about a move in towards the very next corner to come. Is he going to get close enough? I think he's just going to save some battery here. No team orders coming into play. There's the Aston Martin of Gabriel Quintino looking to the inside. Going to look to the inside once again. Is the hairpin on the Williams driver, Isaac Lee, trying to now go around the outside in towards the penultimate corner. Can he try and make this one work? Rapasa in front, also looking to challenge to the inside on his teammate, gets himself through up into the top 5 as Quintino also clears the Williams driver.
Overtaking Fest out there on the circuit. Pressacan's about to get through, possibly, or at least he's trying to fight up against his teammate. It's not what Rapasa wants. He wants to go further up the road. So, backing out of it and not doing anything is Pressacan, but now he's got Gabriel Quintino behind. While these 2 try and attack the ones ahead, you can see Rapasa's about to gain another position on the circuit, edging ahead of Nelson Alves down towards the braking zone, and he wasn't able to do it, so he's having to go late on the brakes, ultra late with the move. Gabriel Quintino's made the position further back as well, and now you can see he's immediately on the back. So Rapasa moves up to 4th. Quintino now will try and take 5th by the time he gets down to the next corner, and it'll be easy. Remember, Quintino versus Rapasa, that's the important micro battle as they both try and gain positions further up.
We're already onto the back of the podium fight here in just a matter of 3 or so laps. We're already immediately ready to fight with the podium contenders, and we got yellow flags out as well. That's one of the Ferraris. I think Ryan Modler has gone round in the middle sector. Is it a puncture, or is that just a mistake there? I think it is just a mistake looking at the speed he's taking now.
Is like it, back to the overtaking Fest we go. About to move on to the podium positions is Luca Rapasa. A big moment in the championship. It looks like he's about to claw in major points as it stands. Neither of his rivals will be scoring. Joe Murphy is taking the lead. Joe Murphy is taking the lead out there at the front of the field, so he knows he has to get on with it as the other drivers begin to close in. Here is Pressacan on the back of Alves. These drivers have lost the 1 second to the cars ahead. Rapasa will surely be trying to make a move any second. Now, can he go late on the brakes? No, so he'll use the cornering grip to try and get through possibly in this middle sector.
Trying to set up the exit, looking to the inside in towards turn 6, the double apex corner, and he gets his car alongside, but we're working a little bit as they get onto the power. He's going to look to the outside into the SSS contact between the pair of them. It sends him wide, and Quintino is now immediately onto the back of Rapasa. Could we see battling between the 2 medium runners now as they get ready to duel in these final 7 laps towards the stadium section? He's looking to the inside, but not going to be close enough this time around, but that battle is really starting to brew up.
It really is. Here we go then, about to make our way on to lap number 30 of the race. We are definitely heading into the final stages. You can see there's a bolt from the blue further up in the road. Joe Murphy is trying to pull away. He knows he can't leave himself vulnerable as he tries to claim his first victory in F2. Rapasa and Quintino trying to attack the cars ahead, but not being able to at the moment. Now can Quintino make the move on the circuit? So important in the context of this race. And look at the speed that is carried in from Luca Rapasa, almost getting past Cameron Dowd, but not being able to quite do it at that moment. Conrad Bowman's, by the way, retired from the race. This is now the best opportunity that Rapasa has had, or will Quintino be the one to capitalize? Rapasa goes late on the brakes. There's almost contact between himself and Cameron Dowd, and will that open the door for Gabriel Quintino trying to fight his way by? Rapasa back up the inside, and you can tell Rapasa's now getting aggressive. He doesn't want this battle to last any longer, and now it's over to Quintino, trying to flick the car the long way around, but going off the road in the process.
Unfortunate stuff there for Quintino. He thought there was a chance, but now he's going to get stuck behind the V-Cop. The Rapasa's been stuck behind for the last lap. He's going to be in the exact same boat. And now Rapasa has to set after the charge, try and get back within the DRS, because the two cars in front had managed to break that 1 second margin. Joe Murphy, 1.4 seconds clear. He's been saving his tyres all race, and this is his chance to try and hang on and hope that he can make something work in these final few laps. Quintino immediately all over the back of Dowd, so I think may have just lost the DRS. No, he's just about kept a hold of it, but it's not going to be enough, I don't think, as they run down towards turn one. Quintino, with the better straight line speed, will pull himself alongside to the outside and get himself ahead by the time they hit turn one.
He needed to do that because he can still see Luca Rapasa ahead, but you can tell Joe Murphy is definitely using this chance to pull away, to make the gap, because he knows that Luca Rapasa and Gabriel Quintino are very much on their way. What a brilliantly poised race we have set up, and Luca Rapasa has been brilliant, as you would expect, with the traction through these couple of corners with the tyre advantage that he has got, and he's trying to utilize it. Meanwhile, Nelson Alves is up against Tudor Pressacan, and Tudor Pressacan was boxed on the apex, and it opens the door for Tom Roberts to fight his way by, who moves up to P8.
More overtakes happening in the midfield. Still Tony Hietala sat down in 13th. He's outside of the DRS train now as well. It's been a really unfortunate turn of events. We thought there was a chance he would be able to fight back, but it unfortunately doesn't look like that is going to be the case. Sabrino has been caught. The gap now to Murphy at the front, 2.5 seconds, and now we're going to have another battle down towards turn one.
Here we go. Luca Rapasa trying to do it. He's going to have the rear wing. There will be no DRS for Sergio Sabrino, who will know he'll have to go super defensive. 21 lap old hard compound of tyres versus 6 lap old mediums, and it's going to be Luca Rapasa charging his way by and immediately going late on the brakes, as we would have expected is Gabriel Quintino, but Sabrino may be able to fight this one just a little bit, at least for a few extra meters. But now standing on the power, it is Quintino who's got ahead, and now he needs to try and defend it.
Looking like he will get this one done with the DRS, but Sabrino not giving up just yet. Still with the hope that maybe he can hang on for a podium. As it stands, though, not looking like that's going to be the case unless he can stick in the DRS here and hope he can capitalise on some battling with Joe Murphy in the final few laps. Pressacan fighting once again here with Nelson Alves. Gets himself up into P8 now. Bit of a break happening in this train as well. He's lost Tom Roberts in front, who is also on those medium compound tyres, a little bit slower to fight his way through, but still could be in with a chance at a decent result here tonight.
Definitely could be. Here we go, then we fling our way through these couple of corners, and Rapasa and Quintino know that these are important corners in the race. Every single corner they've got to be taking tense, they've got to be closing in the gap, or we are heading to a victory for Joe Murphy as well. And what a win it would be, what a brilliant win it would be for Joe Murphy, but equally for Luca Rapasa or Gabriel Quintino. It's one of those races where whoever takes it, it will definitely be quite the special one. And Luca Rapasa, well, you can tell he is not going to fight it, because he knows that these two have to work together to get onto Murphy, and then they can brawl it out. But right now they can't afford to waste time, so Luca Rapasa's let him go. He's let Gabriel Quintino use the DRS and the slingshot to try and close themselves in, and they should be doing this lap after lap. Of course, there's not many laps remaining, but as much as they can to get close. Here is Dowds up the inside.
Trying to find this move here on Sabrino. This is for track position. They're on the same tyres at the moment, roughly, maybe a couple laps different, but Cameron Dowd around the outside through 6, gets himself ahead. He's up into 4th place now. Got Tom Roberts charging behind as well, so he's got to try and get that track position if he wants any shot to hang on to this position.
1.2 seconds is now the gap at the front. They are so close to getting within DRS, and Quintino is trying to break clear of Luca Rapasa. Well, this for Luca Rapasa is great points anyway, in the championship. It's going to put him properly in the hunt, and he'll have a boost of confidence heading into the final 3 rounds at Jeddah, Brazil and Abu Dhabi in 2026. But here in 2025, the final laps of PCF2 racing, and it sees Gabriel Quintino just miss out of that DRS this time by, but he is within 1 second. He is getting closer and closer for an opportunity near the end.
Rapassa gonna steer close as well with a couple of laps of racing left to come. Might still have a chance if he can charge that battery up, save a bit of tyres and give himself the best opportunity, but he's got to dispose of Joe Murphy as soon as he possibly can. He cannot wait a lap sat behind the Alpine driver. He's got to get the overtake done as soon as Gabriel Quintino decides to make that jump as well. Right now he's a little bit too far back, 0.6 of a second. He will need to hope that Gabriel gets stuck in this middle sector, and it gives Rapassa the chance to close in, the chance to get right onto the back of that Aston Martin. Tom Roberts right on the back of Sabrino and Dowds as well. Going to be thinking about that move very soon.
Yep, absolutely. 7/10. It's going to be getting closer. Gabriel Quintino knows that these final corners are so important as he makes his way through. You want to get really close here to give yourself the best possible opportunity, and then of course you'll have to try and have the battery as well at the same time. But we will now make our way around the final corner. The penultimate lap of this race is about to begin. The gap is 7/10 as you can see, but he does critically have DRS, and this will allow him to close in majorly in the, on the gap to the leader that he has.
Well, let's see. Is it going to be enough immediately to try and go for this move? Into turn 1, gets within 0.3 of a second. Not going to go for the move this time around, though. He will just sit behind Campbell Adams coming into the pit lane with a couple of laps left to go. Not looking like it's going to be his day here tonight. Gabriel Quintino still not getting close enough on the run down towards turn 4. It's going to be a last lap battle, I think, unless he can try and find the move in this middle sector. He's giving it the best opportunity he can, but leaving it late on in this race as Tom Rollins is battling against contact. Sabrino making a mistake there as well. The contact coming, and that's going to allow Cameron Downs the gap to try and pull away. Isaac Leet right on the back of this battle once again as well, and that has really ruined this fight for Tom Roberts. Could be in for losing a couple of extra positions that he might have been able to grab on the final lap of this race.
Yep, here we go then, 0.5 of a second. In terms of the battle for the lead, we watch now with Gabriel Quintino through these critical corners, critical traction zones, in the context of who is going to win this. Both drivers going for their first win in F2. Quintino, who was brutally denied at Barcelona, or Joe Murphy, who was at risk of being demoted down to F3 for this season. What a brilliant storyline as we head on to the final lap of the race. The Aston Martin getting closer. Gabriel Quintino going for the lead. He finds the inside line. He finds the race lead on the final lap, but there was a switchback chance, and it's taken brilliantly by the British driver Joe Murphy, who hits the front once again. Another dose of DRS for Quintino, who pulls to the inside line down towards 4, and he's back ahead, but Murphy sends it late on the brakes and he's retaken the lead. Brilliant fighting between them. Quintino makes contact at the end with Murphy. They both go off the road, and Luca Rapassa takes the lead on the last lap as the top two take each other out. They make contact and they have dropped down the order, and Luca Rapassa has been handed this one on a plate. His championship rivals had drama. The race leaders, the drivers who were battling at the front, had all forms of drama as well on the final lap of the race, and it means he's got a 3.1 second advantage. Does Luca Rapassa? Hietala is in 13th, Leo Lund is in 17th. Luca Rapassa finds himself P1 and is about to take a huge chunk out of the championship lead. 17 points behind coming into this race, 16 points gained now. He ends 2025 on the top step. Luca Rapassa wins in Mexico.
What a final lap of the race. Contact as two drivers battle for their first victory here. In the end, it's not going to work out for them. Joe Murphy will come home in second place. Gabriel Quintino dropping down to 4th. Cameron Dowds managing to hang on to that podium position. Tom Roberts in 5th as well. Really great recovery from him. We've got Isaac Leet in 6th. Sergio Sabrino ending up down in P7. What could have been for the Mercedes driver. Tudor Prescan in P8. Nelson Alves P9, Oscar in P10. What a race we've had here in Mexico City. Still a couple of drivers making their way around. Leo Lund, who thought maybe there was a chance to come out with a sensational result. In the end, it's not going to work out for him. A puncture which cost him big here today. It cost his championship rival big here today. He will be coming home in last place here tonight, spinning his way across the line. What a race we have had here in Mexico City.
Can you believe what we have seen across this contest? I mean, especially at once we had the chaotic start, we went into a bit of a lull period, and then the race came alive soon as we had the pit stop phase, and Luca Rapassa finds a brilliant gift on the final lap. Could that be the gift that by the time we complete the final 3 rounds of this season, that gives him the Drivers' Championship? Who knows? It is 3 drivers in the hunt, but 2 of which who have had a round to forget as we complete 2025.
Well, what a sensational race we have seen here today. Driver of the day going to Luca Rapassa, and with the strategy coming from 15th on the grid, we say it's hard to overtake, but he has shown you can come from the back and fight your way through. Gabriel Quintino also, he started 18th and he very nearly picked up victory. Another driver on that alternative strategy. In the end, it didn't quite work out for him, though. Luca Rapassa with the win. Joe Murphy in second. Then we got Cameron, Gabriel, Tom, Isaac, Sergio, Tudor, Nelson, Oscar, Gregory, Tony, Pasquale, Larry, Ryan, Leo, Campbell, Conrad, Gabor are your final finishers. 2 DNFs in that race. But what a race that was. Wow.
Well, Josh, how have you found your first race in F2 then?
Well, I wasn't expecting it to be that chaotic. I was expecting a lot more DRS trains, but we had a bit of everything. We had punctures, we had contact, we had overtaking as well, and yeah, that was definitely a very, very exciting race to watch.
Yeah, definitely. That was thrilling stuff from start to finish. I've never seen the live chat so active. And by the way, in the F2 chat, we were having a conversation on Tuesday about how active the chat has not been, the live chat. So, great to have everyone. Make sure you join us across the final 3 rounds as well for what should be a crazy championship fight that will take place.
Yeah, well, a sensational race we have had here today. A 3-second victory in the end as well as a result of that contact. And should we have a chat with our race winner?
Yeah, sounds like a good idea in my opinion.
Oh,
Hello, Luca.
hello.
So, victory here tonight, alternative strategy, working out in the end on that final lap, maybe not quite looking like it would be going your way, but in the end, you come out on top. How are you feeling after that one?
I'm mind blown. That's the best way I can describe it. I got damaged on lap 1, and then when everyone pit, I was with Gabi. GG to him, because he was the reason I was even on the strategy. And I saw we were gaining on the leaders that already pit, and so we came out in the train, easy overtakes, and then on the last lap, with the damage and the old tires, I just couldn't do anything. And as a joke, I said to my engineer, watch them like do something, and they actually like hit each other, and I won. I'm lost for words, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, how were those tyres feeling as you came towards the end of that first thing? Because you said you were catching the cars behind. Were you managing your tyres throughout that stint? Of course, you had the DRS to help you as well.
Well, on the first or second stint?
On the first stint.
On the first I was just tire saving, and then when everyone pitted, me and Gabi went clean air, we were pushing. But at some point, the damage in the high speed corners, and then the old tires, I couldn't do anything anymore. So I boxed 1 lap earlier, off my front wing a little bit, and yeah, it was insane. Yeah, I don't really have anything else to say.
Any questions from you or me?
Well, nothing from myself specifically, but I just want to say a huge congratulations to yourself. A big race in the context of the championship battle, and you've got some great momentum now, hopefully heading into the final 3 rounds of the season.
Yeah, hopefully. I've lately been not really enjoying the game anymore, so it's nice to have the break now and to just reset and just go for it in the last couple of races.
Brilliant. Well, we hope to be speaking to you then.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, best of luck to yourself, and congratulations on the win.
Thank you.
All right, we've also got Cameron, P3 finisher. We can have a quick chat with him as well and see what he has to say about that race. Hello, Cameron.
Hello.
So, quite a strong race from you, I'd say, coming away with that podium. How are you feeling after that one?
Yeah. Had it have been P3 to say, Joe and whoever else was on the hard, I would have been pretty happy, but naturally just kind of a bit disappointed that I didn't do hard medium, to be honest, because I think things would have been a bit different, but it was a good race. I'm quite surprised, to be honest, with qualifying. Did a mid 5 or something. I would have thought that would have been a bit higher up, but the start was just complete chaos. I almost capitalised on it and ended up in like 5th or 4th, but got an illegal overtake and obviously had to give that back. And then the race was pretty decent. Pace felt good, but it's impossible to overtake anybody unless you've got like a different set of tires that are like 10 laps fresher. That's the only way you can overtake, and obviously that's what Luca did and Gabby, but obviously he crashed with Joe. But to be honest, Luca did a phenomenal job. I think he had damage as well, so he completely deserved that. I ended up also kind of ruining my own race. I was told that the mediums would be like same pace, kind of lap 30ish, so I just kind of fight it as hard as I could, but that was not the right choice at all. They were better the whole way. I should have just waved them both by immediately and focused on my own race. That would have been the wiser choice, but yeah.
Yep, ultimately though, still coming away with a decent haul of points after tonight's race. Anything from you, Omi?
Oh, Cameron, first of all, great to have you here with us. But I would love to know then, of course, you've been able to get this podium, and this is your second season after the return that you've had to PC, of course, because you had a bit of time away on PlayStation. So for the rest of the season, of course, we've only got 3 rounds, but will the aim be to try and maybe secure off another podium as well if you've got the pace, or possibly even a win if you have it?
Always, that's the aim every week. The aim every week is to win. I think, to be honest, last season, I think I was just kind of slow, to be honest. I'm not gonna lie, but honestly, this season, like, things have kind of clicked in qualifying a little bit, and I've been a bit quicker in the race. But I wouldn't say it's unluckiness. It's just not being really in the right place at the right time, or maybe missing out on strategies like today when people will go on a different strat and it just works out a lot better, so you end up losing ground. But yeah, no, of course the aim is to win the next 3 races, but obviously that's gonna be a challenge. But yeah.
Well, we're looking forward to seeing you take on that challenge. Congratulations on the podium today, and we look forward to seeing how you'll get on in the final 3 races.
Yep, thank you.
Alright, well that is going to wrap things up for the interviews and wrap things up for tonight's racing as well. I mean, an incredible race that we've had here tonight. So many talking points. I mean, it feels like it was such a long time ago that we saw 2 championship rivals coming together after a puncture of all things.
Yeah, it's gonna be a long team. Thank God we've now got a bit of a Christmas break to, well, just I think kind of go through what exactly happened in that race, and then prepare for an amazing 3 rounds as well. And well, it's been great to have you alongside me for this one as well, Josh. Thank you for stepping in for Corey, who unfortunately hasn't been feeling too well due to the super flu that has been going around. But I guess this also not just is the end of round number 8, but is also the end of PSGL racing in 2025. So I'd like to say a huge well done to the entire league staff, including Connor, Krypton, and absolutely everyone else who has made this possible this year, not just in the F125 section, across, of course, also the one season that we had in F124 this year in 2025. It's been another great year for the league, but I mean, it's not the end of the season, still 3 rounds to go. But yes, I just want to thank all the viewers, the drivers, and absolutely everyone who has made 2025 what it is for PSGL.
Yeah, and just quickly as well, a big shout out to Sim Racing Setups for providing some amazing setups for the community. You can use code PSGL to get 5% off of all of their products as well. Really, really great products that they do provide those setups. But yeah, I think that is going to pretty much wrap things up here for us tonight here and also for 2025. As you say, a really great round of running and a great pleasure to be here as always.
Yeah, it's going to be an exciting return when it comes to the final 3 rounds. Looking forward to it. But for now, I guess the only thing we can wish everyone is a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Thank you everyone and bye for now.